They said my dress was too short. That the way I looked at him made him lose control. They said I didn't scream enough. That I didn't report early, so I must have enjoyed it. Can you imagine? They said, what was I looking for around him? They said I was all out for his money. They said nobody marries rape victims, so I should shut up. I wish the police could handle my case with the sensitivity it required. I wish girls and women were believed. I wish you believed me.
Being blamed, scorned, bullied, cornered, and other unfair treatment is something that is often received by victims of sexual harassment. Instead of providing help and mental support, many people give the bad judgment that sexual harassment comes from the fault of the victim. Is this still normal? Can it be justified? Then, what do we need to understand and what can we do about it?
Audio preview.
Me, myself, Amalia and Khayati, will give you some information about sexual harassment, starting from the cases, victims' experiences, society's stigma, and the punishment for sexual harassment as a solution. At the end of the video, several ways to reconcile condition that experienced by victims of sexual harassment will be provided as help to recover from prolonged trauma. Between 2018 and 2021, the U.S. The Equal Empowerment Opportunity Commission (EEOC) accepted indictments alleging sexual harassment in a total of 27,291 cases, with 78.2% sexual harassment allegations were filed by women. Then, according to data from the World Population, Botswana is in the top ranking in the world for sexual harassment and rape cases, with the highest rates of 92.93 cases per 100,000 people. In Indonesia itself, women and children are the most potential groups to become targets of sexual crimes. During 2021 to January 2022, the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and Child Protection, or Kementerian Pemberdayaan Perempuan dan Perlindungan Anak, recorded 10,247 cases of sexual violence, with 15.2% affecting adult women and 9.13% in children. So, what actually underlies these high numbers? Is it because of the clothes they wear? Is it wrong if they wear shorts and miniskirts? In many cases, women are often seen as inviting harassment for wearing scantily dressed clothes so that they deserve to be blamed. Society thinks that dress modesty will prevent women from sexual crimes. Yeah, it may be true, but do you still remember some cases where many Islamic boarding school students were sexually harassed even though they're wearing hijab and veils? But the sexual harassment still occurred. So the strong patriarchal culture actually allows the act of sexual harassment and leads to victim blaming. According to Dr. Falda Garcia in her article entitled 10 Factors That Cause Sexual Harassment, Uncontrolled Lust, being a victim or witness of sexual harassment, bad habit of watching foreign content, sexual fantasy, and disharmony family are several reasons why sexual harassment occurs. So, considering this reason, I disagree with the statement that the way we dress underlies sexual harassment. Who has the right to be blamed is the perpetrator, not the victim. So women are free to wear anything they like. They are free to wear miniskirts, shorts, t-shirts, pants, hijabs, and anything they want to wear. Their clothing is not the reason for sexual harassment happened. Besides being experienced by women, sexual harassment is also experienced by men. Nearly 25% of males experience contact sexual violence in their lifetime. The researchers illustrate that at least 1 in 6 men have experienced sexual abuse both in childhood or as adults. Men's sexual harassment is rarely the main focus to be discussed. The small numbers of male victims reporting to the police is one of the reasons. Other reasons include the fear of losing popularity, the fear of losing friends and spouse, not getting support, not being trusted by the police due to the lack of evidence, and because of society's stigma. Society thinks that sexual harassment of someone is the domination, where position and prestige are the main case. It means that someone will avoid despotic incidents like sexual harassment if he or she has a high position. How mind-blowing is this? Sadly, the male victims of sexual harassment is given less attention in terms of mental recovery, because mental recovery is given more to female victims. So be it. Even fellow victims of sexual harassment are still discriminated against gender. When experiencing sexual harassment, the victims say that they find themselves frozen and find it difficult to move. What they experience is called tonic immobility. So tonic immobility means inability to speak, to move, or to fight back when faced with dangerous situation, because literally the brain turns off the muscles to react. A study revealed that 70% of rape victims experienced tonic immobility and only 5% of them reported to the police. It's because speak up is dangerous. Society may shame them, the boss may fire them, their partners may shun them, but this response of freezing is natural response. It's a reflex, instinct, and physiological reaction that is triggered by high stress situation so that it cannot be blamed supposedly. Besides experiencing tonic immobility, the victims also tend to choose surrender when experiencing sexual harassment because they are defending themselves to avoid something more dangerous. For example, in a situation the perpetrator has a knife or even a gun, they can kill the victim if they fight back. So the point is, don't just blame the victim why they don't fight back, because they're having a freezing response and they're trying to defend themselves. Imprisonment for a minimum 6 months to 20 years, imprisonment for life, fines, up to death penalty by hanging, shooting, beheading, are different sentences given to sexual harassment and rape cases from various countries considering the number of victims and its level. What if these punishments are no longer imposed when there are other alternatives like an acquittal if the rapist marries the victim? Something that will happen is double trauma felt by the victim. Just imagine, someone who has hurt her enters her life, sees him every day like remembering the previous trauma. In 2012, a 16-year-old, Amina Filali, committed suicide after being forced to marry her rapist. who continued to sexually abuse her after they married. So, from this real effect, is the acquittal by marrying the victim still considered as an alternative? According to the World Bank, several countries like Philippines, Angola, Libya, and Syria have legal provisions stipulating that perpetrators can escape the punishment by marrying the victims. Even worse, in Greece, Russia, Serbia, and Thailand, the suspected rapist can avoid the punishment if the victim is still underage. It's that easy to escape punishment for what he did to other people's lives. A senior women's rights researcher, Ratna Begum, said that the idea behind this horrible marriage is the concept that women and girls as property. It's about the virginity of women and girls being damaged goods. Already inflicted double trauma on the victim, still exacerbated by harassing women. How can a country make such a provision? I strongly condemn the acquittal of rapists by marrying the victim. The rapists have taken away the honor of women and then added more pains in their lives. That's very, very inhuman. Several ways to avoid sexual harassment that we can do, including: do not hesitate to refuse unwanted physical contact. Be assertive by saying that you are not comfortable with the treatment given. And have self-defense training like rape aggression defense (RAD) with a professional trainer just in case there are indications that sexual harassment will occur. For the victims, there are several ways they are considered helpful in dealing with the trauma and condition. Number one is stop blaming yourself. Reconcile with yourself and consult an expert to get any suggestions. Number two is have therapy. Therapy helps you connect with yourself, and it will make you to love yourself more. Be proud of what you have and give positive impression that you are awesome. And then the number three is sharing the story to other people. Well, it might conflict with other people's perception that a bad experience like experiencing sexual harassment is including into a disgrace. So it's unethical to share. But for many victims, sharing their story will help them to recover more quickly due to the person's attention, sympathy, help, and support. Last but not least is do positive things. Doing positive things helps you to be able to focus more on useful things and get a lot of wonderful experiences. You can start by working together with sexual assault survivor, dedicating as a volunteer to support them, exploring a lot of education on the topic, and giving understanding to people who are feeling powerless, and so on. So, in conclusion, victims of sexual harassment cannot be blamed for any reason. The law must continue against the defendant without parole. We, as a part of society, should protect the victims, help them recover, fully support reporting to the police so that the perpetrators of these acts are wary. Hope that you can understand about sexual harassment and hope that you can change your perspective for the better. Thank you for joining this video. Keep safe and spreading love.